There is power behind every story we carry within. Every tragedy, no, yes, laugh, victory. And every testimony that is incubated within our souls have power. The power to transform, from tragedy to crown, from obstacle to opportunity. And all the moments in between make us wiser. Watch Candid Conversations with Charisa for impactful, unheard moments that will certainly spark your power and inner truth to shift, heal, and restore your life. It's time to get real, uncover, unlock, unpack, set free, and increase the dialogue to change a life. We all start somewhere and end in places of destiny. Get ready for the long-awaited Candid Conversations with Charisa.
Hey family, Candid Conversations with Charisa is back and we are about to be lit. The conversation is continuing. We are continuing to be raw, deep, real, and transparent and transformational. We are going to start off this season talking about love and marriage, dedicated to all of my married couples and those aspiring to be married. Then we're going to get into dating and sex for all my single couples. And then we are going to talk about forgiveness, because forgiveness is not about the other person. It is for you. We're going to talk about isolation. We're going to talk about the benefits of sometimes being alone. We're going to talk about putting you first and why that is so much more important for you to start influencing others. Then we're going to talk about how you are the creator of all of your creation, needing no permission to do what you want to do and can do. Then I am going to give you a sneak peek and follow up on me actually going home, where I was able to get the freedom that I need. So pull up a chair. Every Thursday, we're going to be here on YouTube watching Candid Conversation with Charisa, a show that was created just for you. And I think the more important question is, what does doing you first? I think sometimes we do us, but we do it after we have done everybody else. And so doing first for me happened just like that. I was doing me, but it came when I was exhausted, when I needed to rest, when I realized that, okay, I was hurting people because I was hurting, but I'm getting to a place where I'm now starting to do me first. I'm starting to put me first. And I think part of my issue was I felt like I was being selfish or self-centered. And as a social worker, you learn the art of putting people first, making sure they're fine and they're healing and they're working on them, and then you worry about you. You know, when I walk in the door at work, when I work at the hospital, I leave everything about me at the elevator. And when I step off the elevator into my office, it now becomes about everybody else. And I did the same thing when my parents died. It happened to me, but it became about everybody else. Everybody else's sorrow, everybody else's pain, everybody else's hurt, everybody else's disappointment. It came about everybody else. And then it was, but are you taking care of you? Yeah, I am, but I know there are a lot of people who are depending on me. So even with being emotional, I didn't want to get emotional, because the minute I cry, everybody else would cry. The room would just be full with tears. And so I'm managing the room, which also means it wasn't about me. It was about everybody else. So being at this stage where when I think about doing me first, I'm now doing me first. And one of the things I'm learning is the art of saying yes and saying no. And the art of understanding that yes and no are complete sentences. No, period. It's not a fragment. No is a sentence. So if somebody asks me to do something, or if something doesn't fit on my schedule, or if it doesn't coincide or abide by the purpose and the journey that I'm on, then I get to say no. And you know what I get to do? I get to say no, period. I don't owe no one any explanation. And then I get to understand, you know what, in being disciplined, no is the best thing I can do for me. But there was a point in my life when it was yes, 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 yes for everybody. And it was no, no, no to me. Because when you say yes to something, and I know no one likes to hear this, and it took me some time to even realize that when you say yes to something, you are always saying no to something else. When you say, like, you can't say yes and no to the same thing at the same time. but you're saying no to something and yes to something else. So even in saying yes, sometimes the saying yes is saying yes to me, period. Not owing anyone any explanation, any justification, just being okay with saying, are you going to do that? Yes, I am. Really? Yes, I am. You got a problem with that? Versus, are you going to do that? Yes, I am. Really? No, you don't think I should? Like, we ask people so much permission to take care of us. We ask permission from everybody else to do what we're supposed to be doing. And I'm learning to no longer have to ask permission for nothing. The only permission I should be asking is for me to shine, is for me to soar, is for me to ride the wave. And if you are willing to join, you're more than welcome. So the art of saying yes and no. I'm also learning that about myself is I've been lying to myself for some time. And I'm to the place where after lying to myself and saying I was not okay, I really wasn't. And as I walk down this journey of transformation, it's even taken me a really hard time, even now, to be open about the fact that I had been okay for 7 years and I really wasn't okay. People would ask, how are you doing? And I'm okay, but really I wasn't. And part of it was because when you don't say okay to people, that you're not okay, then people automatically go into fixer mode. They go into, oh, then what do I say? I don't need you to fix me. I don't need you to say anything. Just let me say what I have to say and you keep it moving. And so it was easier to me to lie. Or part of the lie too was I wanted to be okay. So I was telling myself, if you want to be something, then say that you are, so then maybe you'll follow suit. So I was saying I'm okay, but I really wasn't okay. And the minute I decided to say, I'm not okay, then I also allowed myself to believe and say, I need help. And so recently I've been getting the help. I've been looking for the help. I've been getting it from a coach and a mentor and a spiritual advisor to help me in my becoming okay versus lying, because then I also realized that when we are not okay or when we are lying to ourselves, we begin to bleed into other people. We begin to bleed onto other people. And if I'm going to be a server and servant of people, if I'm going to be influencing and impacting people, I realize that I can't be bleeding on them the same time I'm supposed to be helping them. I can't be bleeding on them the same time I'm supposed to be wiping and helping them wipe and helping them heal. But in order for me to help you heal, I have to make sure I'm healing. So I'm in a process of healing. It's taken me 7 years to do that. But I'm in a process of healing and wiping up my own wounds, licking my own wounds, so that my wounds and my bleed doesn't bleed on somebody else. The other thing I'm learning when I consider the doing me first is loving me and all parts of me. There was a time when I didn't, and everybody has insecurities, right? So we're insecure about something. It could be something physical about us. Maybe we are insecure about the way we think. We're insecure about some trauma, some past. And there was a part of me that would look in the mirror, and this is me being so candid, but look in the mirror and I didn't like how I look. And so because I didn't love me fully and love all parts of me, the extra skin, the extra flab, the extra shake in the arm, I mean, no woman likes that, right? Who likes that? The extra little double chin, like all of these things that you get when you prefer something else. I hated them. And it became very hard for me to love others for them if I hated myself. And so I've gotten to a point where even with my extra fluffiness, with my extra, extra little chunky hair, or maybe there's something in the mirror and I don't like there's a little extra love handle hair. Like, I'm beginning to love that. And if there's something I don't appreciate about it, then I get to say, you know what? I need to improve me. So I get to say yes to me and no to someone else so that I can improve what I don't like, so that I can love me, and not just love me, but all parts of me. Love the way I think. That's different from the way she thinks, or different from the way you think. And be okay with that. Love the differences that we have, and how beautiful it is for those differences to, when they come together, like the purpose and the greater vision that they're supposed to be leading to, like those differences are necessary when you look at the bigger picture. One of the other things that when I consider doing me first, and I'm doing that now, is understanding my triggers. Like I know what some of my triggers are. And it's important to just know them or be aware of them, because they determine two things: my responses and my routines. Based on, what I do, based on what I say, and how I respond to stimuli. So knowing what those stimuli and what those triggers are requires me to put me first. No one's going to be telling me what they are. And putting me first is going to make me more alert, make me more vigilant, make me more aware. Some of the triggers I can't control, but I can control how I respond to them. I can control the routines that I build because of them. And if they're not healthy, if they're not breeding a healthy response or a healthy routine, I need to know that. And I would never know that if I continue to put everybody first. And I was doing that. So doing me first is putting myself in a position to recognize what they are, so that my responses, again, are not negative, are not toxic to be bleeding into others. And lastly, one of the other things that I have learned, and I'm still learning this, especially for many women, because we do it when I put me first, is recognizing that I am my own and I am my only competition. You're not my competition. He isn't my competition. I am my own competition. And I'm in competition with myself, because who I am now is not the same person I was 10 years ago. Who I am today is not the same person I was yesterday. Who I am in 2022 is by far not the same person I was in 2014, 20 years from now. Like, I'm a different version of me from the day I was born. And realizing that I'm competing with those different versions. I'm competing from one me to the next me. I should always make sure that I'm going in a forward direction. I'm going in a better direction. I'm going to greater possibility direction, not going back. So every version of me was perfect for that season. But I should be competing with those versions so that I'm doing better as I go to the next. Not competing with someone else. Because their version of them is based on their purpose. Their version of them is based on their potential. Their version of them is based on what they've been through. My version of me is based on my purpose, and that's one purpose, one potential. My version of me is based on the crap that I've been through, the crap that I've allowed. My version of me is based on what I would have gone through any season. But those are different versions of me, and I'm competing with them. So imagine me competing with all those different versions and then trying to compete with somebody else. Like, that's exhausting. So when I don't put me first and I'm worried about everybody else, now I'm tired. Now I'm exhausted. Now I'm too beat to even think about, okay, how can I be better than the person I was in 2021? How can I be better than the person I was in 2025? How can I be better than the person I was in 1999? How can I be better than the person I was this year, or next year? How can I be better than the person that I'm becoming? Because I've never arrived. I'm becoming someone, and that is the only competition. So putting me first has become, I heard a friend of mine say just today, we were having a conversation, and he said he had been putting everybody first. And he said, starting this year, it's all about him. It's all about him. And he used some words, and I was like, man, I only wish I could express it like that, because he was like, it's going to be all about this bad. And I said, yes, it's going to be all about you. And so it needs to be about you first. And that doesn't mean you're selfish. That doesn't mean you're self-centered. It just means that you want to put you first, so that when you become available to everybody else, you're the best version of you.